So today we're going to get started on the largest and most intricate pieces in the timber frame cabin.
The pieces we're going to be working on are these big sills. These are 16 footers. These are some of the largest pieces in the cabin and definitely the most intricate. You can see here all the notching work. There's quite a bit to do. How that lays out in the larger scheme of things is here we can see there are 11 pieces in this frame. There are 7 floor joists and there are 4 sill boards. We've completed the 2 12s, those are done, and I've got 2 of these joists finished. Now we're working on these big pieces, and these are the 16-foot sills. And these are the pieces that have all of the cutouts in here for the floor joists. The problem we ran into with the last timber frame cabin was 2, which I think is a big flaw in this design. One was there was not a dovetail joint that prevented this sill board from bowing. There's nothing to keep this from bowing out, and I did not like that design very well, and there is a fix for it. So I'm going to go deviate from the plans and do kind of a dovetail design, as you can see. I hope you can see right here. See right here. Sorry, it's a little bit windy today. Right there, that middle floor joist will dovetail in there, and you see the way that it holds will prevent that from spreading. That will be the one thing. The second thing I didn't like about this design is these notches are cut too deep. We're dealing with a 6x10 here, and the floor joists are 6x8, so that only left 2 inches of relish. I believe that's the right term for it, relish, the wood left underneath, and that to me just it could be improved upon it, and I think that's a little bit too thin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bump these up to 4-inch and then notch an additional 2 inches out of the floor joist itself just to increase the strength on this. I don't know if it's necessary, but it just seems practical to me. The site with the log, the last video there is the tree we cut down. This is the biggest butt section. That section in the middle there is the piece that we took out, and then here's the firewood section. So I'm setting an angle here with the truck to pull it past that bunch of bushes right there. So hopefully it won't hang up. We're just about there. So there it is. It doesn't look like much, does it? But we're going to make it into something real special. This tool is called a PROhO, and you can see it's got a hook on it that hinges off the main pole, and it's used to give you leverage and to hook in and to move logs around. You can move a lot larger logs than you'd normally be able to with this, and I'll use this to roll this log down here and get it up on the sawhorses. If anyone would like to donate a 50 horsepower farm tractor to the homestead, contact me to arrange delivery. A little different.
Not quite strong enough, but a really nice shape now. Is there a deer over there? Is there a deer? Is there a deer over there? Is there a deer? How about a squirrel? Squirrel?
She's pretty intense looking.
Small child? Small child?
How about another dog?
A bone? Dog biscuit.
Meat! Meat! Leftovers?
How we did. I don't like this white fur as well as the Doug fir. It's kind of gummy. Seems like it holds a lot more water, and it's the chips of the sawdust off here is kind of this cadaver gray. That's kind of unpleasant. It's I don't know. I guess it'll be okay, but it just is not. It's not the nicest, as nice to work with. See here how fuzzy this is. This seems to gum up the chain, and it doesn't seem to cut real well. It's just maybe it's because there's so much water in it. Here's all the cants I have left over. This particular piece, I didn't cut anything out of it here because it's got a real bad pitch pocket in it. And I'm going to turn that into a bridge for down below crossing this creek. And then these other pieces here, there's just not enough material on them to get a 6x out of. So those I'll cut up and use for firewood. Set the chainsaw jig, and we'll hopefully get 2 6x10s out of that. As I'm ripping these slabs with the chainsaw mill, every 4 or 5 feet or so I put these little oak wedges in on both sides. I just made these out of some wood I had around, and that's to prevent the top section from pinching down and squishing the bar and causing the saw to work any harder than it normally has to.
He said, to serve the emperor, and only a few local militia now patrolled the ramparts. If the lie was believed, then Alaskan his emperor was far away, and he was alone on the coast of France. But the greater struggle was beyond his help. That thought made him chide himself for lack of pay. Could win a great victory and break the alliance that ringed France. France had been scraped for men, then scraped again. And many of the captured privateers grew. If Killick fought to save the Tuella, then he must have a safe retreat in case he
I was really hoping to get 2 16-footers, 6x10s out of this, and it's really close. This one here, easily I'll get it. This one here, as you can see, the log tapers down pretty tight over there to where the saw is, and it's so close, but I think I can get away with it. It's going to have the edges are going to be rounded a little bit here, but I'm going to cut it, kind of fudge it over and get as much as I can at each side and hopefully salvage it. The 16s are hard to come by, and I hate to waste this and have to cut a 4-joist out of it, but that's what I'm going to attempt now. So I'll get it cut, get it edged, and hope for the best here. Here's a little bit different than the last one you saw me using. This one's called the mini mill, and what it does is it runs on a track that you screw to a 2x6, and you can see there it just follows that guideline, and this really helps for edging. It would be a lot more efficient if I had 2 big saws to leave one on the mini mill and one on the Alaskan, but it doesn't take long, a couple minutes to change them over. And this is on a 12-foot board, 2x6. Obviously not long enough to make the whole cut, so I'll cut to the end of it and then stop the saw, slide it forward, resecure it, and then continue my cut. So let's see how it goes. Come in with your cut a couple feet, then you need to put this dog in here. What that does is this supports this piece that's going to be cut off, prevents it from sagging down and tearing out or splitting your wood. So I was able to get an 8x10, or excuse me, 6x10 out of this. There's a little bit of this bark on here called wane, and we'll just turn that to the bottom, so that's not a big problem. And that'll eventually fall off, but using a draw knife works good. I can remove that. Bark will attract a lot of bugs, and you don't want that. So there it is, a beautiful 16-foot freshly cut 6x10, which will make the sill board, main sill board in the cabin. So here's the notching detail we're working on this sill board. So as a recap here, the piece we're working on today is this 16-foot 6x10 right here. It's going to have all the pockets for the floor joists. And the notching detail is right here. So you can see we're 16 foot overall. We've got 6 inches on the tenons. And then we've got the 7 beam pockets, or joist, floor joist pockets. So I'll get started on these 2 ends first, and then we'll do all the layout for the pockets. So I've just completed the layout on the 16-foot sill. You can see here, here's the, I put the X on all the material that needs to be removed. It's surprising how easy it is to forget those things, so I give myself these visual aids to remember that anything with an X in it is material to be removed. So here is the tenon, and then we have here 7 of the beam pockets, or the joist pockets here. All this material will be removed. The plans called for these to be 8 inches deep. And remember that the floor joists are 8 inches also. So what I'm going to do is I've changed this to 6 inches because I didn't like that small bit of material being left behind there. And the only thing left, it was a small 2 inches to support all of the weight of the floor. It probably would be adequate, but I think this is an improvement, and I think it was that's what I'm going to do anyway. So there's 7 of these. I've got these all laid out. I've got the top marked, and this right here is where we'll have the special dovetail to hold everything together. So we'll come back and redo that. So that's a no cut there. And then a mirror image on the other end, clearly marked. So next is to start notching.